Welcome back. We're going to get some paint on these fenders here. Right now we've got them in a 400 scratch with the primer, and I'm going to use the Tekna Pro Lite with the 1.4 tip at about 18 to 20 psi. I don't have full fluid turned out on this gun. You just don't really need it with this Debeer solvent base coat with the 1.4 tip. With the 1.3, it almost struggles to put it out. For some reason, it just is real thick. Plus, this is white. I've got it over reduced just a tiny bit, maybe 2 to 5%, maybe an extra ounce of reducer per sprayable quart or something like that. I just find it lays down better. But I'll get all my offsets sprayed first, and we'll get I got the fenders off on the stand just because they were so dirty and grimy on the backside from the truck being oil sprayed. I really had to clean them up and getting them masked. If any of you are familiar with the Ford Super Duty trucks, they have a plastic fender liner that comes up and covers part of the bottom of the fender, and you can sort of bend it up and out of the way, but the problem is right along the arch it's hard to get it back masked when it's dirty. So I've got this hood on a step ladder, and I've masked the step ladder because I don't have a panel stand that will actually support a hood like this upright, and I've started painting hoods this way only because of all the dirt in the shop. If you paint them where they're hanging vertical, especially with a solid color, it really doesn't matter because you're not going to have any funky metallic orientation. But the problem I run into is all the trash, and because this is white, I don't want any specks of black dirt or anything falling in it. You have a better risk of orange peel and even runs if you put it on too heavy on a stand when it's vertical like this. But I'm trying to get away from painting them flat. Plus my wingspan is too short to paint one of these on the hood. You can see I darn near zebra striped it in the middle of the top here. I almost missed a whole area, so I go right back over it. It's kind of getting ahead of myself there, but just kind of on these first coats I go for coverage to make sure I don't have any real light spots, but you can see toward the middle of the bottom of the hood it's light there too. I just have a lot of trouble with white. This is the second or third white vehicle I've painted in the last 3 months, and I don't seem to be getting any more used to it for whatever reason. But I also don't have the fluid turned out all the way on this gun. It seems to me that when I get it set where I want it, it's putting out so much fluid that you have to go too fast and you lose coverage. So I just keep putting light coats on it till I sort of get coverage for this first coat, especially on a hood. It's a big area and it's hard to see what you got covered and what you don't have covered, and that way I know I'll put another at least 2 coats on this hood just so that it's got coverage. One more coat will probably hide everything, and then the last coat will be just to make sure that we're good to go. So here we are on my next coat. I don't think I go through all the coats of base coat on this stuff, but it's gets kind of boring. I guess you guys probably get tired of listening to me talk, and it's either this or you hear the air compressor in the background and no narration. So if you like the narration, great. I tried to do the best I can. I fumble around at times and try and think of stuff to talk about, but there's sort of been a hiccup in the video stream for me lately just because I haven't had time to edit and upload them, but hopefully we'll get back on track here sooner or later. Had a little bit of snow plowing to do this month, so things kind of got sidetracked in the old shop here and had to sit for longer than I wish they would have, but I'm really starting to get the hang of this Tekna Pro Lite gun. The 1.4 tip is just about perfect for this Debeer base coat. Everybody keeps telling me I should review this gun and use it for clear coat, and I got some buddies who use this gun for clear, but I'm really, I'm pretty happy with my Iwata, and I may put clear in this. I guess I'm afraid I might like it more. I don't know. That's what everybody keeps telling me, but I also know that in my shop and having trouble evacuating overspray in an efficient manner, this gun has the T20 aircap on it, which is a high efficiency, and with the clear coat, I'm afraid it's going to get way too foggy in here for me to see. So you can see this thing's pretty much got coverage after this coat as I go down. I started doing the sides first. It's just hard to walk the gun completely around the panel. I try and get some coverage on where the body line break is there before I go ahead and do my thing and walk the panel. But at some point in this, I end up actually putting a little bit of a sag in the base coat, and I forget when it happened, but it was probably right about there in that bottom corner. Let's see if we can see where I did it, but I remember having to wet sand it back real quick and then move to the clear coat. So here's the clear. I don't know if this is the first or second coat of clear. It looks awfully shiny, so I'm going to guess that this is a second coat of clear. I may have forgot to turn the camera on, but I'll use the Iwata LPH 400, and this is the AC200MS medium solids 4:1 clear coat. You can see it looks like I got a ton of overspray, and at this point I guess I don't realize how hot it is in the shop. I have not shut the heat off, and I'm running a torpedo heater in the other side of the building, and I want to say it's about 85 degrees in here, which is just a touch too high for the medium temperature reducer that I'm using, or not reducer, activator that I'm running in this clear coat. But only spraying at about 22 psi with this, with the 1.3 tip. I have 1.4 tip for it, and it seems to work a little better with the high solids clear than the medium solids, especially this clear. And I'm on my second gallon of this clear, and I've sprayed some pretty good sized stuff, but everything I've sprayed was white, and I am really struggling to find the right settings for this clear. It just doesn't want to spray, but it's a decent clear. It just doesn't want to lay down, and part of it is probably activator related. I'm too hot in the shop. I got my little cheater stool here though, so I can get the top of this hood. Trying to keep it high enough up by putting it on this ladder that it's not close to the floor where it's cold and where it can have trash. You can see the floor is pretty wet. Guys go back and forth about wetting a floor because it raises the humidity, but my little thermometer on the wall with the humidity gauge on it says I'm only about 40% humidity in the shop. It is January, end of January, beginning of February, I forget which, but it's pretty dry to begin with, so there's not a lot of humidity, but it's pretty damn foggy in there, and that's telling me that I'm either putting out way too much material and it's not getting on the panel, or it's way too damn hot. But you can see how slow I'm traveling, so this must be the second coat. And I end up actually having to do a back-to-back coat at some point on this, and that may be what you're seeing is that second coat that I started, and I'm actually going back to back on it, but I turned the camera on and only showed the one coat. I just could not get this stuff to flow out. Too much temperature. And since then I have sprayed some other parts of this truck and actually killed the heat and let it get down to about my starting temperature of about 80 and finishing temperature of about 70, losing 10 degrees over 20 minutes or half an hour of spraying with the exhaust running and letting cold air into the building. So I really put this clear on there. And I think that's where we leave it. Just get this edge over here and call it happy. And I'll show some footage of this truck finished and assembled in the next video. so that you guys can get an idea of how it turned out. But I did end up having to cut and buff this hood. The fenders, I nibbed the trash out of them and buffed them, but they turned out pretty good all in all. So I was pleased and the owner was pleased, so that's what counts. Alright, we'll give you a little final walk around this stuff. It's been an hour since I finished painting it, so if it was going to run, it was going to run by now. I'll be honest with you, in the honor of full disclosure, I had a boo-boo and I forgot to turn the camera back on. I wanted to show you guys, but I ran the base coat right on this body line, and then I ended up having to take some 800 after it dried up enough and knock that run out. Also, in the honor of full disclosure, I had to pound the living shit out of this clear. This is AC200MS by Valspar. It's a 4-to-1 clear. I have never had to push a clear this hard to get it on the panel and get it wet. 80 degrees in here and a medium hardener, that might have been part of it, but I mean, it don't look bad. These fenders are wobbly anyway. We didn't get stupid and hand block them, but I mean, they're shiny, they look nice. Fenders turned out pretty good. And the hood, it's got some peel in the middle, and I'll tell you how I put it on here. You guys probably watched me. I can't remember if I let the camera run or not. It was getting kind of long, but I did a back-to-back coat on this, and that clear is not a back-to-back clear. The first coat, I could not get it to flow out, so I back-to-back coated it, gave it like a half an hour or 20 minutes, looked for runs. It didn't run, and I put another coat on it, and it just would not flow. I even put a little tinge of reducer in it. This one calls for up to 8% reducer. I put like somewhere 4 or 5% reducer in it. I think I put an ounce in 20 ounces, so 10% would be 2 ounces. I only put an ounce in it. I mean, I was right up on this, just hammering it down, and all I got out of all of that, just pounding it back to back. You can see the shadow. There's one little hanger right there. That's it. So I don't know. The white wasn't really, the base coat wasn't peely. It wasn't terrible by any means. It just did not want to go. Ooh, did I get another little hanger down here? No. I thought maybe I did. It looked like there was one right there. I don't think so. I mean, I don't know if you guys can see it, but I mean, it'll fly. Second coat I went to put on it, I got a, I don't know what the hell, silicone hole or something in it right there, and another one that's even worse over here. See if the camera will get it. Yeah, you can see it. Nothing too crazy. It'll probably pass, but I'll probably end up buffing the hood. The fenders are good enough. We'll leave them as is. So I'll give you another go of this truck. I'm going to be working on it for another week or two here. It needs more than just paint work. So I'll give you a shot once it's all on the truck, and you can see how good the front end looks and the bed looks compared to the rest of the truck. So we'll catch you guys on the next one. Hope you enjoyed.